So I think it's obvious what we're going to talk about today, and that's the fact that you've had seven, it was six this morning, it's now seven apparently, Labour MPs have basically, left the Labour Party effectively, and they haven't created their own party, but for a while now we have talked about the fact that there has been this movement from certain donors of the Conservative Party and the Labour Party, who have both said that, look, if there is this centrist party, we would actually go to them. Although I would argue the centrist party in the UK already exists. It's the Liberal Democrats. The problem is, I've said this many, many times, is that they have a messaging problem, and their ability to be able to get their message out is what's probably stopping them from being so successful. The last really successful guy who actually genuinely brought them close to leadership was a guy called, Scottish guy. I can't remember his name, ginger hair. I was going to say Alex Salmond, but it's not Alex Salmond. Can't remember his name. But yeah, during the sort of the 90s and the early 2000s, when he was the leader, he was the guy who brought them closest to being in power. And Nick Clegg sort of built on that, but the problem was that was where the messaging conversation started, and I don't really know what happened for them to just suddenly, it's like Nick Clegg just suddenly dropped the ball. And yes, it had a lot of stuff to do with the fact that the whole coalition thing and stuff they were a part of. Now, when, again, that whole election happened, they didn't fight back. And that was another problem. But now we're getting massively off topic. So, one of the big things is, in particular our political system, is we are a first-past-the-post system. Essentially, you've got one vote, and essentially most votes, winner takes all. Now the problem is that if you want to start a new party, you've got to deal with essentially almost 100 years of really ingrained voter recognition. These parties are incredibly rich and not as in, they're financially wealthy and able to effectively spread their message. And because of this, they have UK-wide reach. Now, the problem of any new party is funding. So any new party that starts has to start in a very small section and try and build out. And if you look at where these Labour MPs have broken away from, they're really all over the country. And ironically, this is one thing that I haven't seen any Brexiteer make, but I sort of agree with the top-tier echelons of the Labour Party that have come down and said these people must stand for a by-election. I agree with them for one particular reason. In their original, campaign, their voters who put them in place as an MP voted for them as a member of the Labour Party and the platform that they stood on. Now, they've said that their platform hasn't really changed and that they're going to release their independent manifesto, which essentially means they are creating a new party, despite them saying, oh no, we're not creating a new party, but they are. They're also trying to apparently encourage more people from the Conservative Party to come and cross over. Whether that will happen, I doubt it, but the Labour Party has effectively just fractured, and a fractured party is... the Labour Party has just become even more worse at becoming what it will be able to do. And we don't know whether they will vote with Labour on certain things or they will oppose Labour on certain things. So this is a massive problem because effectively Labour has now just lost 7 votes. They are now out in the wind. And the other feature of our political system is that our MPs are very heavily whipped, and not in the way of, giving them a physical whipping, which I'm sure many of us would occasionally love to do, but they are whipped as in they are told this is how you are voting, and any deference from the party line will be looked down upon. So in a way, while this is has become a fact of our political system, and it is in many other first past the post countries who operate it, it is more prevalent in our system than any others. So when someone does go against the party whip and votes another way, that's why it always makes big news, because of how prevalent in our system it is. So what's going to be the effect of them leaving? Well, as I said, at the moment, we don't know, but this has just effectively fractured the Labour Party even more. And as I said in another video recently, the first person, either Theresa May or Jeremy Corbyn, who is able to unite their party behind them will be the winner of Brexit and will be able to decide essentially the political future of Britain going forward. They may even be able to cancel or even stop Brexit if they are able to do that. The problem is Jeremy Corbyn is, well, we've had the video coming out a few years ago saying that, you know, he hates the EU, but we've known about that for a while, and when Nigel Farage seemed to rediscover it, it came as sort of a shock to him. But no, we've known that for quite some time. The problem is, and the real issue is what happens next. But as I keep on saying to people in all my videos, really for the past, since the beginning of this year, I don't know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen. Even MPs and politicians have no idea what the hell is going to happen. But we do know from economic experts it is not going to be good. And MPs trying to explain to people the choices that they themselves voted for is going to be really funny to watch. But back to the by-election thing, I really do think that these guys should stand a by-election. Look, their voters voted for a Labour candidate, and by, you know, crossing, you know, by saying we're no longer going to be Labour, they are effectively disenfranchising their hometown voters. So I fully agree with the Labour leadership that there should be a by-election. These people should have to fight a by-election to see if their views and policies that they want to push, that apparently are now different from the Labour Party. Remember, we're doing this and they haven't actually said how they're going to be different from the Labour Party, except they're going to oppose Brexit and push anti-Semitism, which, by the way, first things first, there are people in the Labour Party who are pushing to try and stop Brexit and for a people's vote. So by doing that, you have weakened that position in the party to be able to do that. So congratulations, guys. The second one is this whole anti-Semitism row. This is a complete red herring that is pushed by the right-wing press. There is no smoking gun. There is no Labour MP or Labour Party member or activist that has been caught on tape or on film saying, you know, anti-Semitic rhetoric. That just doesn't exist. The only reason it does exist is because they do not like what Corbyn is saying about the Palestinian situation, that he supports Palestine and, you know, wants the situation to be resolved peacefully, which we all do. The problem is that he is massively taken out of context. He is horribly smeared just by appearing at a rally or in a photo shoot with someone, and it's like, oh, anti-Semite, and it doesn't exist. And these people who are pushing this are either really misinformed or just don't want Corbyn to be the leader, which we have seen before in the Labour Party. And is one of the current undercurrents in the Labour Party. But because Corbyn has seen off 2 leadership challenges, he is pretty much safe. So what's going to happen going forward with this, how this is going to affect things going forward, we generally don't know. Will there be tomorrow morning a bunch of Conservatives say, we're going to join you as well? We don't know. If that does happen, well, that could open a can of worms. But I very much doubt it will happen. So yeah, they've left the Labour Party. I'm doing this on, like I say, Monday. I'm forgetting what day it is. Monday night. Literally, you know, the day it's been announced this morning, and this video is going to go out on Friday. Who knows what's going to change between now and then? It will be very, very interesting. By then, the by-elections could already be announced. They could have been running a by-elections. Whether they win or whether they lose could be very interesting, because it would essentially prove my point that these big parties and our first past the post system, it basically does not favour independent or new parties. So let me know what you think.